And welcome here to the newest edition of Husker Online Chat. I'm Husker Online's Abby Barmore. As always, this is brought to you by ABM and sponsored by Union Bank and Trust. Today, I have Kaitlyn Hord here with me. She is Nebraska volleyball's newest transfer, a middle blocker from Penn State. Kaitlyn, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Very excited.
Awesome. So, my first question is, you were one of the top transfers in the portal this year. You had a lot of opportunities to go almost anywhere you wanted. Why did you choose Nebraska?
I mean, there are a lot of reasons why I chose Nebraska, but the main thing is I keep saying like I acted on a feeling when I got there. I just had this gut feeling everything felt right and I just had to act on it, and so I committed on the spot during my visit, but some of the main things that kinda gravitated me towards the team in the town is just seeing how well the team interacts with each other. Like, I've seen it from the other side of the net, but now I've seen it from a different perspective, and they're all extremely close, and I really wanted to be a part of something like that. And I also got a chance to meet the coaching staff and everyone that surrounds that staff, nutrition, sports med, um, everything like that. And everyone that's a part of this program is absolutely amazing. So it everything feels so genuine, and I just couldn't help but want to be a part of that.
Who are some of the other teams that you also talked to a lot during your process?
Yeah, so I actually only took one other visit. It was to Texas, so they were pretty high up on my radar as well. And then I had about I want to say 4 more visits planned out, but I ended up canceling those. I was actually supposed to go to USC the next weekend, and then Minnesota, and then Ohio State. So I had some other teams that I was talking to, but not planning to visit. But things took a turn, and just committed to Nebraska.
You talked about this a little bit earlier, how you were on the other side of the net from all these Huskers. What was it like getting to know them and kind of you're going to become one with them now after you've been battling with them for the last 4 years?
Yeah, for sure. I've actually known some of them for quite a while, even before college. Like me and Nicklin used to play against each other in club all the time. And then me, Maddie, and Kenzie actually played on USA back in the day. So I knew a couple of them just through volleyball earlier in life, but they're all just such nice girls that there wasn't any like I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, but, like, it was just such a kind environment to walk into. I didn't feel like it was, like, we were still competition or anything like that.
Mhm. Penn State's head coach, Russ Rhodes, he retired at the end of last season after 43 seasons at Penn State, 7 national championships. How much did his decision to retire impact your decision to transfer?
I wouldn't really say that one had an effect on the other. I just kind of feel as though my decision to leave Penn State, I just felt like my time was coming to an end. Like, I put in my 4 years here. I feel like I've, grown a lot here. I've made some incredible relationships with teammates, friends, and everything, and I've learned a lot, and I just feel as though, to keep progressing in my life, it's time for me to move on and spread my wings someplace else.
Mhm. So Coach Cook said that you committed to the team, so you told the team that you're coming to Nebraska before you told him.
I
What
did.
was that moment like, and why did you decide to tell your future teammates first?
Yeah, I just again, I said I got that feeling, and we the team had, like, sort of a day with just ourselves or a night with just ourselves, so it was just the girls hanging out at one of their houses. We went bowling, a couple hours before, and then we went to someone's house, and we were just hanging out with each other, and I just felt like the environment was so warm and welcoming, and I was just like, "You know what? Again, I just really wanna be a part of this." So I asked, like, You know what? You guys are awesome. Like, I see the chemistry that you guys have. Would you mind if I came here? And they'd be like, yeah, we'd love to have you. And I was like, all right, well, I'm coming here. And then these just started jumping and screaming. So it was really awesome.
I also heard that you went bowling. Uh,
Yeah.
Cook said that you were such a great bowler. Tell me a little bit about
No.
the bowling.
Yeah, I'm only good at bowling on the Wii. Bowling in real life is a different story. I'm pretty bad. I think my highest score I've ever gotten is like a 70 maybe. I think this past time I got a 14 or something like that. But I'm just not good at the flick of the wrist, I guess that's what you call it. But it's just not my game.
All right, we have our first question here from Jason. What are you bringing to the net for the Huskers?
I think I'm bringing interesting question. Well, not interesting, good question. I think I'm bringing a lot of hard work. I love to work hard and I'm kind of a gym rat. Just the culture that we have here at Penn State, like we're always in the gym. I think that I'll just bring the attitude that you have to go hard all the time and like go after every ball even if there's no chance that you might get it, like still give 100% effort all the time. So I think that's something that I'll bring.
We had a very important question to Nebraska fans. It's important that our middles can run the slide. We have the classic Stiverin slide. So, how about you running the slide?
Yeah, I mean, I used to play basketball back in the day, and the footwork is just like a layup. So I think I just didn't really run it too much at Penn State. I mean, I ran it a couple times, but I just think I was a lot more effective in front. So we just kept rolling with what was working. But of course, if the slide starts working, I'm fine with rolling with that as well.
So, you are graduating from Penn State in May. So, you're still there hanging out, finishing your degree, and then
Hmm.
you're arriving at Nebraska in the summer, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, is your degree going to be in entrepreneurship or business or
No, my degree is actually in communications. So entrepreneurship will be something completely different, but something that I'm very interested in. So,
Mhm. So I heard that you are looking to start a business for women that have bigger feet to create shoes for them that fit.
hmm
Why did you decide to do that and what kind of inspired you to start that business?
yeah, I've been struggling with finding shoes since about the 6th grade. I've worn men's shoes and I still continue to wear men's shoes because I guess women typically just don't have large feet, so that's not something that a lot of fashion industries focus on. So I know nowadays, especially in the volleyball community, half of us have size 12 men's shoe and over. So I just think it's something that would be very beneficial to a newer generation where our feet are larger than they used to be.
Mhm. Are you planning on making like athletic shoes or everyday shoes or do you have a plan yet?
I kind of wanted to maybe go into everyday shoes because that's something like I guess cuter shoes. That's something I don't have because I have like the men's athletic shoes and you get girly looking colors. So I've never had like a woman's shoe that actually is a woman's shoe, if that makes sense. So
Mhm.
that might be where I start and then maybe branch out into a bunch of different directions. So.
All right, we have another question. What are your personal goals to bring Nebraska?
I definitely want to win a national championship, but besides that, I want to be the best teammate that I can possibly be, whether that's on the court or off the court. So, um, if it's just like advice volleyball wise or advice about school or anything, even though I'll be like a newbie, like I feel like I've got a lot of knowledge that I've gained over these past 4 years, and I just really want to help anybody that would want or need it.
We have another one from Jason. I love women's Husker volleyball as much as I do Husker football. With that said, are you ready for the best crazy fans in the world? Is this part of the reason that you came to Nebraska? Did this have an impact on you, the fan base?
I mean, seeing that they've sold out Devaney since what, like early 2000s, that's definitely something you want to be playing in front. So it definitely had a little bit of leeway in terms of me making my decision.
So with Coach Rose retiring, we have a lot of, fans of Nebraska volleyball, but just fans of volleyball that really respect everything he has done at Penn State. What are some of the things that you are going to carry with you that you learned from Coach Rose?
Again, like I said, just working hard, going hard. I think I learned that your body can do a lot more than you think it can. Um, just being tough mentally and uh, learning how to take criticism. And yeah, I think those are the main things that I'll be taking from Russ.
Mhm. Here's another one. Difference in programs between Nebraska and Penn State. I know you've only been kind of exposed to Nebraska's program, but you have been playing across the net from them for 4 years. What do you see right away that's maybe a little bit different, or what's really similar?
Honestly, that's kind of what drew me to Nebraska. It's so similar to Penn State, at least in what I've gathered so far. I was saying like the towns are so similar, the volleyball culture is so similar. Yeah, I think they're honestly a lot more similar than they are different. Both coaches are extremely decorated. There's a similar playing style. Between both teams. They're very DS heavy, I would say. Um, Always very good at defense and passing. So, yeah, definitely a lot more similarities that I see, at least as of right now, than differences.
Mhm. You said you've had an opportunity to work under one of the historically best volleyball coaches, Russ Rose, and now you get to be coached by John Cook, who is also another one of those like decorated volleyball coaches. What does that mean to you, and kind of thinking how big that is for you to have that opportunity to learn from two pretty iconic volleyball coaches?
I mean, it's been an absolute dream to play here. So I'm again just really excited to see what Nebraska has to hold. Again, both coaches are extremely decorated. They've been doing this longer than I've been born, and they have so much knowledge to give, and it's really an amazing experience to play under somebody that just is so knowledgeable about something. Like it just makes it, I guess, that much more special.
Mhm. For those of you just joining us, welcome to Husker Chat Online. We are with Kaitlyn Hord, a Nebraska volleyball transfer from Penn State. We have another question. How did Penn State view Nebraska on the other side of the net?
Like in terms of
Like when you're going up against Nebraska, how did you mentally prepare?
mm,
Playing in Devaney, like what were those experiences like?
Nebraska week was always a stressful one, I'll tell you that. We're always on our toes. I mean, I they're one of the only schools that has a winning record against us, and I've actually never beaten Nebraska while playing here at Penn State. So I mean, we're always extremely focused during that week. Working on the Stivern slide, how to defend that. Because I think the first time we played Nebraska was one of the first games she was back, so we had to prepare for that. And so it's just we're working very hard for Nebraska week. They are not taken lightly, as no one should in the Big Ten, but we give a little bit extra attention to the Cornhuskers.
Is it a little bit of a relief now that you don't have to worry about playing Nebraska anymore and that defense that you were talking about, but now you're gonna have to play Penn State, which
Yeah.
might be a little difficult too?
It definitely will be, because I mean, I've been playing against these girls for my entire career, so they know just some of my tendencies, so hopefully I think it'll be a great match regardless, it always is, so I'm excited.
We have a question here from Greg. Lots of girls and young women in the state look up to Husker volleyball players. Will you be okay or maybe good at, having an important role as a role model in this state?
Yeah, I'm planning on it. I don't even know how to answer this question really. I think that I will be. I know that I will be. Just as imagining myself as a young girl, um, when I wanted to, or when I was looking up to athletes like myself, I guess it's definitely a little bit intimidating. So I want to be, I guess, that type of player that's easy to talk to and people can ask questions to. It won't be afraid I won't respond or anything like that. Like, I'm an open book. You can ask me anything. I will be there to help you. Yeah, yes, I'm ready to take on that role.
Um, Rosalind is wondering why you didn't pick the Huskers the first time around as a recruit. What were some of those decisions that you made when you were like coming out of high school?
Definitely not decisions or factors that even slightly played a role in my decision this time, like jersey color and silly things like that. But I honestly don't even think I was recruited by Nebraska back in high school, so they weren't even an option. I think they had middles already, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. I saw that you were at the Nebraska women's basketball game during your official visit. What was that game like for you? And talk a little bit about what you did on your official visit and what were some of the things that really stood out to you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that game was awesome. The women's team is pretty legit. It was like every second they were stealing. I think they were playing Wisconsin. It was like every second they were either forcing a turnover, and then there was this girl who was forcing the turnovers. She was just scoring threes back to back. So I mean, they're a pretty awesome team. It was very exciting to watch. My visit was very uh thorough, but in a good way. I got to see a lot in a little bit of time. Um, I started out, where did we start out? I can't even remember. It feels like forever ago now, but I remember we did tour Devaney, look at the weight rooms, got to see the team lift a little bit, met with sports psych, a couple of the academic professors, got to see the athletic dining hall, which is really nice. That's gonna be something that I will use a lot. Love food. So, got to meet with the team doctor, um, watched a little film on myself and other people, and hung out with the girls. And we also got to see that entrepreneurial grad program in the agricultural sort of side of campus, which was really nice. I think that's about all we did. I think I hit everything.
Eric is just joining us and he wants to know what you're majoring in.
Right now I'm majoring in communications, but when I get to Nebraska, I'm planning on entering in the what is it called? Applied science program, which is like a entrepreneurship type of program where you can choose the classes that best suit what you're interested in. So for me, I was saying that I'm interested in real estate as well as creating my own business, and that business would be for women with large shoes. So those are my two goals.
This bowling thing, it might follow you around here.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm really bad at bowling. Not even gonna try and hide it. I don't know what it is about. I guess I've never really bowled are there classes in bowling? Like, how do people get good at bowling? Like, is it just something you
I never got good at bowling, so
Maybe I need to start with, like, the bumpers on the side and then move up from there. Because every time I do it, it just goes right in the gutter, so
and Nebraska has a really good women's bowling team, so you might need
Mhm.
maybe we could get some lessons together, our next
Yes.
live.
Yes. Sounds good.
Okay, perfect. This is Husker Chat Live for you guys just joining us. We are sponsored by Union Bank and Trust and brought to you by ABM. Joining me today is Kaitlyn Hord, newest Nebraska volleyball player. Um, our next question is you've played in Devaney a lot, and you've also played at Penn State. What are some of your favorite venues that you've played in the Big Ten, and then also in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, definitely Rec Hall and Nebraska are always fun to play in. I mean, the fans just sort of amp everything up, and it's amazing to play in front of a crowd that knows good volleyball, so that's always a good time. I like playing at, Wisconsin. Their fans are very right up on you, and they're not afraid to say some things while you're back there serving, so that's always a good time, and then, Purdue was very intense as well. So yeah, I think those are probably my top.
This is a good one. What do you like to do in your spare time when you're not practicing or working out?
Yeah, for sure. I love to watch movies, any sort of movies, but I really like thrillers. And then I love listening to music, big like old school 70s, 80s, very into Fleetwood Mac at the moment and like the Bee Gees. So I like that style of music a little bit. There's hardly ever a time you'll catch me without like my headphones on. Like I've always got them on rocking out to music, and then I love to eat and sleep. So if you can't get a hold of me, it's either because I've got my face full of food or I'm asleep. So
You talked a little bit earlier about Nebraska's training table. You know,
mhm.
what did how does Nebraska's training table or, athletes cafeteria, whatever you refer to at Penn State, how do those two things, compare in yeah.
Yeah, I would say the major difference is that at Nebraska, there's like a dining hall for all athletes, which we don't have here at Penn State. Like it's kind of like your individual team sets you up with, I guess, dinner. And so we would just cater out to different restaurants each night or like get a specific cook to cater for us each night, and so we didn't have the option to go and get, like, breakfast or lunch at a location. We had to do that on our own, so
We have a question here from us. At what age did you know volleyball was a sport for you, and when did you get your first scholarship offer?
Yeah, I was kind of a little bit of a late bloomer because I played basketball up until 7th and 8th grade, and then, took a brief halt from sports altogether, and then at my middle school, we actually had this, like, droopy volleyball net on the side of a hill that was slanted, and during recess we'd go out there and play that. I mean, I would get to touch the ball maybe twice the entire recess, but for some reason I just kept coming back every day. And so when I transitioned from middle school to high school, I was actually like touring the high school that I was going to go to, and while on the tour we ran into the volleyball coach in the hallway, and he said, "Hey, why not come down to try out?" So I was like, "Okay." And so the rest is kind of history. And so I guess my first official volleyball practice was ninth grade.
And
And then my first scholarship came, um, I want to say when I was 15, I believe. So I started 14 and then I got my first one 15.
yeah, you started pretty late typically there's athletes start when they're really, really young. So, why did you get into volleyball kind of late? And were you playing any other sports leading up to that?
Yeah, I did, karate when I was younger for about 6 years, and then I did basketball 5th through 8th grade, gymnastics for until I hit my growth spurt, and then yeah, I was just kind of focused on basketball, and I was actually planning on playing basketball in college because that's what my dad did, so I was gonna follow up in his footsteps, but the sport just got a little too physical for me. I don't like being pushed or touched too much, so kinda had to say I'm done with that, and then volleyball, I watched it all the time when I was younger, so I was like, "I think I'll try this," and then it just stuck, so
You talked about karate. Did you get your black belt in karate, or how far did you move
no.
up?
I think I got to either 2nd or 3rd degree brown belt, which is, like, one step away from black belt, but yeah, probably should've stuck with it just those next couple of months to get the black belt. I regret it now, but at the time, I was just like, "I'm done with this," so, yeah.
We had a question earlier about, are you going to do beach volleyball? And we know that you're not on campus yet for Nebraska. She's finishing her degree at Penn State, but have you played beach volleyball and do you have experience with that?
I do, I'm really bad at it, 'cause I can't figure out how to jump as high in the sand as I do on the court, so that part's a little frustrating, but I definitely do enjoy playing it for leisure purposes because it's a great way to get good ball control and just develop a good volleyball IQ, I think, so if I'm there next spring, I'll definitely play, but it just depends on where I end up.
We have another question from Dwight. Was Coach Cook the primary reason you chose to transfer to Nebraska? And, what were some of those other reasons for people just joining us?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was a big part of it. I mean, we text 3 to 4 times a week, so it just feels good to have somebody that feels like they're there for you and they're checking up on you and they want what's best for you, and he's a very obviously decorated coach and he knows what he's doing, and I'm excited to learn from him. So he was definitely a big part of that. Another thing I touched on earlier was just the chemistry that the girls have. Seeing that in person is just a whole nother story. So I just wanted to be a part of that. And then the culture that the fans have created at Nebraska volleyball are pretty amazing. So again, I wanted to be a part of that, and then everything that the school has to offer. So all of those in combination have been some of the primary reasons why I chose Nebraska.
Okay, we have our final question here. You mentioned earlier that one of your major goals this year at Nebraska is to win a national championship. What do you think are some of the keys to win that national championship this year?
Yeah, for sure. I think winning a national championship is very difficult for any team, but I think something that helps teams get there is when they have undeniable chemistry, which is something I saw in this last year's team in Nebraska. And then when everybody's on the same page and everyone's working towards the same goals, it just makes it that much more competitive in the gym, and yeah, it just makes it a lot more fun to be around individuals that are all striving for that same goal.
All right, one more. Sorry, I lied. Did you talk to Coach Russ Rhodes about his input when you were deciding to transfer and kind of thinking about coming to Nebraska and taking a visit here?
No, I did not, no.
Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Husker Chat Live. We really appreciated having you, and good luck at Nebraska. This
Thank
was brought
you.
to you by ABM and sponsored by Union Bank and Trust. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here today, and have a great day.